Allan Rosenthal, I'm a podiatrist in Ridgefield, the Advanced Foot Care Center. And I'm also a certified pickleball instructor, and I worked on the United States Pickleball Health Association. This lecture that I gave in 2018 before the pandemic to my colleagues in the American Academy of Podiatric Sports Medicine in Boston. And if you have questions, I don't mind interrupting, because I'd rather not just, didactic. So this is our objective today. Pickleball, what is it? Rules, demographics, how sports podiatry can help, choosing the proper shoe, common injuries, role of the physical therapist in pickleball, which Gigi's going to do. She's going to do injury prevention with stretching and warm-ups and exercise and balance in pickleball. So there's no relevant financial relationships exist, except that I am a consultant for a pickleball shoe company. If anybody wants a discount code, I can give them a discount code. Okay. Here I was just trying to show, I know it was a video of how active pickleball really is. It's not a low impact sport. Most of us play doubles. Okay, I played this morning, and I feel it at the end. So what is pickleball? I don't know how many people actually play pickleball here. All right! Nice. I played on your ready courts last year. You are so lucky to have dedicated pickleball courts. Because I play in Ridgefield, and we have money aside, but we don't have dedicated courts. So we all know that pickleball is a cross between ping pong, badminton, and tennis. It was started in 1965 in Banbridge, Washington, Bainbridge, Washington. And the court dimensions are the same as a badminton court, which means it's a lot smaller than a tennis court, so we have less, area to cover. And we all know about the no volley zone in the kitchen. The rules are simple, the no bounce rule, the volleying, behind the kitchen, serve has to be underhanded, and we usually play at rec centers, gym surface, or outside on like tennis courts, or I've even seen people down in Philadelphia playing on clay courts, which I find difficult. We know it's a wiffle ball and a graphite paddle. So we all know it's players ages kids to seniors. Funny thing, it used to be mostly seniors, mostly in Arizona and Florida or out west. Now, the growth of pickleball is 150, this is brand new statistics, is 158% in the past 3 years. And the average age, which I find incredible, but is 35. So we all know, it began in senior communities and spread throughout the United States and the world. We're trying to get it into the Olympics. It's not an easy thing. And I think it's like 8 million pickleball players now. And it can play, tournaments, men's, women's, mixed doubles, and also singles, although not that too many people play singles. They usually do only in tournaments.
Who's been playing for more than like 5 years? So mostly new, yeah.
So you're all new, that's great.
Newer players, yeah, and I think that a lot of that came out of the pandemic, right? I think that's when pickleball kind of exploded because people were trying to find something to do outside, and I think that's also why a lot of younger people have gotten into it. So
yeah. So it's incredibly accessible. It's popular in PE programs. I got introduced by the physical ed department in Ridgefield. I was a long-time tennis player, and this is a great transition for tennis players to play pickleball. There are at least, this number is off already, at least 6,000 places, and it's increasing unbelievably every month. So, it's inclusive. I love it. I play a game. If I'm exhausted, usually, I can sit down. It's very social. It's easy to learn. The smaller court, really helps older patients. It's easier, obviously, on the joints, legs, and the feet. Lowers the rate of your risk of heart disease, depression, and for seniors, you stay independent longer. Again, socially, it's great, and it's fun, and it's less frustrating, I can tell you, than golf. So how can a sports podiatrist like myself help? Shoe gear selection. That is the major thing where people get injured from wearing the wrong shoes. You need to wear the shoe for the surface that you're playing on, okay? Now, I'm like I said, I'm a consultant for this company. They have indoor and outdoor shoes, okay? This is an outdoor shoe. And the difference between that and this indoor shoe is really mostly the tread and the composition of the sole. So what are you looking out for in a pickleball shoe? And this is a tennis shoe. So the big difference is you want something that is really stable in the heel. It has stability in here, and this is all to prevent turning your ankle or overpronating, turning your foot in. You want a wide toe box. That's the difference between this shoe and the tennis shoe. This has a double last. So it's wider here, so you're not getting tennis toe and other injuries, and you're able to grip a little bit better. The indoor shoe, again, it's softer, and if you're on a gym surface, it's nice because you won't slide as much as you would with an outdoor shoe. Tennis shoe, you can see tennis shoes are different, and they're not as supportive. I'm not going to say you can't use a tennis shoe, but there are advantages for using pickleball shoes.
Can you show us the bottoms of the tennis versus the indoor? The indoor.
So, I mean, it depends on the company. But the biggest difference is it's not as stable as it is here. This is so you don't turn over on your foot. Lacing pattern is important too. I don't know how many times I have to tell patients or people, there's 2 extra eyelets here. What you want to do is loop it through and it stitches down your ankle so you don't come out. You know, if you're not wearing the proper shoe and you go forward, you come into the kitchen, you may slide, you may end up in the kitchen, you may fall. So it's the proper shoe makes a big difference.
I think it's important, because as we all know with pickleball, it's a lot of lateral movement, right? We're doing a lot of lateral. And that's what the proper pickleball shoes, if you're trying to use a tennis shoe, a running shoe on a pickleball court, you're gonna
I have a slide.
invert your ankle. So that's the biggest thing. So if you don't want to invest in a pickleball shoe, a tennis shoe, because they do a lot of lateral movements too, but do not use, especially some of those big honkin' running shoes on a pickleball court.
Hokas, yeah.
Yeah, they'll
Don't wear those.
Yeah.
They have, a lot of them have, the difference is, again, as Gigi says, pickleball and tennis are both lateral movement and forward movement. But in pickleball, it's a lot quicker going back and forth. I'm an ex-tennis player, and it makes a major difference wearing a pickleball shoe if you can.
I think we had a question. Did you still have a question?
You have a question? Yeah.
The sole on a pickleball shoe, using it wider to help with that support?
Yeah, what it is wider in the heel.
Not the sole, the front part, the sole.
Well, this particular brand, this is the first dedicated pickleball shoe company. And they made it wider in the forefoot. So yes, because when you're playing, you're supposed to be, balancing, on your forefoot in an athletic stance. If especially at the kitchen, you're going side to side, or you're rushing up to the kitchen, you want to be able to grip inside the shoe. All these shoes can accommodate what's called an orthotic that a podiatrist would make for particular problems. So the lower or high impact depends on your level you play. I played last week myself in a upstream downstream. I was exhausted after 2 hours because it's continuous.
What is it upstream now?
What upstream is, they have 4 courts, 16 players. If you win, you move up. If you lose, you split. If you lose, you move down and split. I got kind of in the middle. I went 3 and lost 2, but that's pretty good for me. tournaments used to be really separated by ages in pickleball. Not as much now, because of the influx of younger people. It seems to be like over 55 and under 55. And it's, you know, it's exploded. I'm sure you have seen this stuff on the internet. There's a lot of good YouTube instructional videos. I work with Better Pickleball. That's CJ Johnson and Tony Roach out of California and Florida. And every year we have a pickleball summit. And I've done it like 5 years in a row of giving advice, but there's just not me. There's pickleball coaches, et cetera, nutritionists, et cetera. So you can look for that. I don't know when it is this year. Am I doing this wrong? Oh. So, I'm a podiatrist. I treat foot and ankle. What are the most common injuries I see in pickleball? It's probably Achilles tendon problems, plantar fasciitis, and ankle sprains. I mean, there are other things too, but the Achilles is the most common. And Gigi's going to go through stretching for you, and that is really important to do. Wearing the proper shoes, warming up properly, stretching. Now, there's ways for me to treat it, but I don't want you to come into my office with Achilles tendonitis, or even worse, an Achilles tendon rupture, which means can be months of rehab. It's a really awful thing. I mean, there are other problems. I mean, I can start at the toes, something like a subungual hematoma, which is blood underneath the nail. It's called tennis toe. You can have shin splints. You can have plantar fasciitis, neuroma injuries, which is a nerve impingement in the foot. And, you know, going through the medical history of the patient determines how I'm going to treat it. Again, I went through this, indoor or outdoor shoes. You can, in the past, we can recommend volleyball and badminton shoes. Some people like basketball shoes because basketball shoes, if you get one with a higher, you'll go around the ankle, it'll give you a little bit more stability. But that would be for indoors on a gym surface. Again, wearing a running shoe like this Solomon here is the worst thing you can do. You're going to end up spraining your ankle, and you don't want that. Whoops.
Oh, another question.
You got, I'm sorry.
What brand is that top shoe?
That's Tyrol. That's if you want I'll give you my code. You can go to tyrolpickleball.com, and my code is AR-057. And if you don't write it down, you can come to me. It is a dedicated pickleball shoe. There are so many pickleball shoes out there now. Skechers came out with one. Selkirk just came out with one. This is the first dedicated pickleball shoe. A lot of pickleball shoes are labeled pickleball shoes, and they're tennis shoes. The bigger name companies.
The A6 and the, is that?
Yeah, A6 head uses the Rush, which is just a pickleball, tennis shoe. Wilson, the same thing.
But any pickleball shoe is better than a running shoe.
Yeah, or a tennis shoe. I would say, you know, if you're gonna do
Yeah.
it. So here, I just want to, look at this guy here. What? Excuse me, I'm gonna curse in a second. But look, he's wearing sandals.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like asking for trouble.
What brand is it?
Actually, I like Birkenstock
Yeah,
myself.
I think those look like-
There's other
I
ones
think
too.
they say Teva, those are the Tevas, so, yeah.
They look like Teva. The time I had Tevas, I was wiping with a rafter.
Yeah, right.
That's what I would
That's
use
what
them
they're
for.
meant for, not for the pickleball court.
So, okay, I guess you know, and I go on Facebook, I go on the internet myself. Gotta be careful what you read. People like to give their own advice. Everybody's an individual. If you're really hurt, I mean, there's some first aid things you can do: price, protect, ice, compression, elevation. I use a lot of kinesiology tape in my practice. I use a laser in my office to heal a lot of things. Not too many injuries, pickleball injuries, need surgery. Okay, But try and be careful if you can use Dr. Google or Dr. Facebook. One of the things, and I wanted to wear, I should have worn today, these Thorlo socks. These are just for pickleball or tennis. Well, you laugh, but it really makes a difference. It really makes a difference. So again, the most common injuries: plantar fasciitis, plantar fasciosis, Achilles tendonitis, tendinosis, Morton's neuroma, tennis toe, nail problems, stress fractures, tennis leg, hamstring injuries. And these are, again, all preventable with the right advice from your physician. The things I use to treat it: obviously, proper shoes. Again, KT tape, you could do too. They have videos. You go to the KT site and they have videos on how to put the tape on. You've seen Olympic athletes use this all the time. I'm telling you, I use it on my back. It works.
Yeah, we use it in therapy too.
Yeah, I mean, this is something PTs. Again, I have a laser. EPAD, ESWT is a little bit more involved. Surgery, obviously, NSAIDs, anti-inflammatories, just be careful. Sometimes I have to give an injection, over-the-counter or custom orthotics.
So what's so great about this?
Well, I was just gonna say, so about this, so I don't know about these particular, even like tennis socks, but it has around the arch a support, like it has a little bit more compression there.
Well, this one actually has it more in the forefoot
Is it
because
more? Okay, yeah.
when
But
you're
also-
playing, you're really on the balls of your feet, and it has heel cushioning, not that much. They do make socks if you have plantar fasciitis. The compression socks made for plantar fasciitis, it can help.
Yeah, it's all about where the compression is in the foot.
Okay, I wrote an article a couple of years ago, it was published in Pickleball magazine, on how to buy shoes. The big thing is, I'll tell you, and this goes even for running shoes, you want to put the shoe on a counter, you want to make sure it goes, up and down, it's not like that. You want a firm heel counter. On a pickleball shoe, you want something stable here, you don't want to twist your foot. This particular brand has a lot more, it's wider in the forefoot, it's got some air, because the people that play in Florida, they can't, and then it's got these things so you don't roll over your foot. And a tennis shoe doesn't necessarily have that, okay?
What's the approximate cost on the pickleball shoe? It's just a,
140,
Yeah, 140, 150, it depends. Yeah, but you know what? It's better than coming to, no offense to myself actually, it's better than coming in to see your having an injury and coming in to a doctor. Okay, I'd rather play than sit on the sidelines.
Any good running shoes about the same too. I mean, you can't, any shoe, right? You can't get anything less than.
So, just tell me straight,
Yeah.
how can I play? I know this was short, but I'll be welcome any questions now or after Gigi's presentation, whatever you want to do.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes?
I think you mentioned at the very beginning that it's not a low impact sport.
No, I don't think it is. It's, well, let me clarify that. Compared to other sports, obviously basketball's a high impact. Depends on the level you're playing. It's less with beginners, but as you go up, the ladder, boy, it can be, you see, that's why I had that video on at the beginning. I wanted to just demonstrate how much impact goes through the body. I mean, if I'm going back for a lob, and people bang, you know what bangers are, if you play.
You don't want to.
Yeah, they bang the ball at you. The big thing is, another thing, this is not my field, but wear some kind of eye protection. I had a black eye even with glasses on. There's so, and it doesn't take a lot to learn this sport. It's a very quick grade to improve, depending on your background. But as someone who's a beginner, first of all, you should make sure that you are able to play this. Maybe take some lessons, and go slowly, and know who you're playing to,
What about if your knees aren't great
Aren't great.
Are not great.
Oh, that's me. I played tennis my whole life. I was on my high school team. I played USTA with 4 seasons. 2 years now, I had my knee replaced, my right knee. I skied, I play golf. I was playing pickleball on a Tuesday in February, and all of a sudden I couldn't bear weight on my right knee. I have a Peloton bike at home. I go on the Peloton. It really makes a difference. On rehab, the orthopedic surgeon I had, he did it robotically, and the RVNA helped me, but they gave me what's called a range of motion bike, which is a recumbent bike, to recover. So the best things if you have knee problems, and I think Gigi can go over this too, is cycling, swimming, TheraBand, which she gave some out. I do this, I go in the office in the morning and I put a TheraBand tube in the door and I go all 4 quadrants. Same thing with shoulders. Now, again, I'm a podiatrist, so I don't deal with that. But yes, you want to build up, I'm doing that now, I go on the Peloton bike, so I don't have to have my left knee done.
And, well, I'm sorry,
And for your, I mean, the biggest thing to do for someone with these issues is strengthening your quads. Right?
Yes.
So you need to make sure, so if you have any sort of arthritis, bone on bone, we're not gonna change that, but in order to try to decrease the pain, you wanna get the muscles as strong as they can. So the quad, which is the big thigh muscle, right, is the biggest, strongest muscle in your body. You wanna get that nice and strong, and I've got some exercises we'll show that will help. If you're having any kind of lateral, difficulty too, because you're putting strain on it, because pickleball is smaller motions, it's not as high impacting as, like we said, basketball and those big things, but there's definitely some impact there for sure.
I mean, not saying, even tennis.
Yeah.
Tennis, you're running a whole court.
Right, it's a smaller court.
And if you're playing singles, boy,
is walking on a treadmill necessarily a
Not
better thing to do?
I would do other things. Biking is better, swimming is better, TheraBand is better.
But-
I mean, unless you disagree.
Well, walking on a treadmill is good for endurance, as long as you're not pounding on it. Running on a treadmill is not as good, but if you're gonna, run, it's better to run on a treadmill because it's a softer surface than running out on the roads. But walking it's okay. It's definitely okay to do. But biking is better because it adds a little bit less impact and a little bit more motion.
So when you run, you put 3 to 4 times your body weight through every heel strike. So, any other questions? Yeah.
Since you had the knee replacement, is there any limitations? You just don't have.
I want to go skiing. The only thing that's limited me from going skiing is the pandemic, because I didn't want to travel with someone else. And I get lazy getting up in the morning.
But your ability to play pickleball has not.
No, not really. No, not from the knee surgery. It's other factors maybe, but not at all. Again, pickleball is probably less impactful than tennis, basketball. I used to play platform tennis. Platform tennis is the same size court as a pickleball court, basically. But if you ever look at a platform tennis court, it's like a grip on the bottom. So when you can make a stroke or you're stopping or moving, I get that sudden jolt and that goes into my knee. So I've kind of stayed away from that sport. Now I can do it, but I know it's going to irritate it more than anything else. And there's a lot of ways, Gigi can go through the rehab on how to, I like biking, I mean, indoor biking, if you can do outdoor biking, but I don't want to go through the roads in Reading on a
So
bike.
spinning is okay, spinning classes?
Yeah, that's what a Peloton I do.
Okay, right,
Yeah, and I'll do that on days when I don't play pickleball. And I play a couple times a week usually. I played this morning.
Can you talk more about orthotics a little bit?
Sure.
But I would really appreciate, because I have to be
Oh, okay.
do your thing, because it's the prevention that I think many of us.
I told him that's why I want her.
Yeah.
Right.
But he asked about orthotics. Orthotics are custom made by a podiatrist. After an examination, doing range of motion, gait analysis, looking at x-rays. You can try over the counter on you know, from the pharmacy or something, but it's not a custom device. It's a good start, but it's not a custom device. Major insurances pay for podiatrists to do orthotics on patients because they know that that's what we studied, that's what we did.
Is it a full sole, or is this like?
There's different kinds, there's 3/4 up to these ones. It could be up to the toes, up to this, what we call the sulcus, here, up to the metatarsals, it depends. I mean, depends on the activity. You can have an orthotic made for particular sports. I have a pair for my golf shoes, because golf is very, you torque a lot. I have a separate pair for my pickleball and swim, and I have a separate pair for my ski boots. Because it's a different motion. All yours, Gigi.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm a big advocate of orthotics as well. Us as therapists, we can also do custom orthotics. But if you have an issue with your arch, it really does help. So orthotics can help decrease pain and improve your function of your foot. So a little bit about me, I'm a physical therapist. I've been one, unfortunately, for over 25 years. I know her for many years down in Norwalk Hospital. So I've been at RVNAhealth for 15 years, and I oversee all the rehab at RVNAhealth. So, and I'm one of the newer pickleball players. I started right during the pandemic with my friends, and we were like addicted. We're out there at 9-degree weather outside playing pickleball if we can. So it's a great sport, and as everything that you said, it's the social aspect too. So I kind of want to talk a bit about what physical therapy can do, and just a general exercise. That's really what it is: exercise and strengthening, preventative care. If you have any injuries, we're there to help you to recover from that, and also help your performance enhancement, helping improving your agility, endurance, and your coordination. Because as we all know with pickleball, you have to have good coordination, especially when there's those bangers out there. So really key components. And I'm trying to practice what I preach when we go to the pickleball court, but the biggest thing to prevent injury is the warm-up. And we're gonna go through some exercises, I have them here, is dynamic warm-ups. Try to get out there, not only just doing the thinking, but really doing the warm-up of your body to prevent injury. So a good 10, 15 minutes, and a cool down. And cool down really comes down to stretches afterwards, right? That's when your body is at its most, it's warmed up. So doing those after you're done playing, help to prevent injury, is the stretching afterwards, and we'll go over that. I have them here, so just kind of.
What I've told patients is wear long warm-up pants, so you get a little perspiration going. And maybe park your car a little further, at least walk to the court.
So again, stretching, in order to prevent injury, we're gonna be going over some strengthening exercises, which are gonna be doing some squats, some lunges, some sit-to-stands, some basic things that work on the quads. Then again, flexibility and mobility. So the hamstrings are big, the back muscle, really big, especially when we're down in that squat all the time, right? When you're pickleballing. And the calf. So the calf is the muscle here, which connects to the Achilles, which goes down into the heel, and that's when you can get those Achilles tendonitis. And unfortunately, if you do it really quick, you could actually get a rupture of the Achilles. And some shoulder exercises, right? Because even though pickleball is you're supposed to be kind of squat, we all tend to be up here and all this. You want to try to keep yourself, your mobility of the shoulder, and balance and proprioception. So proprioception is kind of like where you are in space. So I'm just going over some exercises to do that. But pickleball is a lot of balance. You're going side to side. We don't want to go backwards. We don't want to be doing this, right? This is when we fall back. So we want to learn on kind of going back, kind of sidestepping. That's again that lateral. So I'm going to go over some of those preventions for that.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
So my wife and I just started playing a month ago. We had four lessons once per week. And I'm really feeling my shoulder. Am I doing something wrong?
You could be. I mean, are you trying to stay low? Are you trying to?
Yeah.
What are
We're trying to do top spins.
Yeah.
Do you have any
Let's go low to high,
Yeah. You're just already getting to those top spins. That's pretty good.
I started on the first.
What, were you a racket sport player before?
I played racquetball.
Yeah.
Racquetball's a little bit different
I
than
played
tennis.
paddleball and a little bit of tennis, so.
So
So the
warming up
topspin, the
properly
concept of a topspin was
is a little different.
familiar to me.
Yeah, but it's a little different as an instructor.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, you don't want to take a big backswing like you do in tennis. You want to, it's much shorter motion.
The shorter
It
motion,
is,
yeah.
okay.
If you're back like going like this, that's actually not what you wanna do, and you get an impingement in your shoulder, so you actually wanna keep your arm closer to your body. Yeah, so that might help with that. Okay, so I do want you guys, if you wanna get up and so we can practice some of these. So let's stand up.
Does anybody need a TheraBand?
And we're gonna do some TheraBands. Okay. So I handed out one that said pickleball warm-up, so if you want to get up and move around a little bit, all right? Again, we're gonna try to practice what we preach here, right? Before you get to the pickleball court, you know, you and your buddies, your 3 other buddies, want to do what's called a dynamic warm-up, okay? So it's basically dynamic stretching, it's moving. And so the first one is here, it's just bringing your, high knees, we call this, right? High knees. And again, it's working on your balance, because you're going from leg to leg, single leg. So you just want to do high knees and kind of get that, right? So do about 10 of those, okay? Next one, this one's even trying to kick yourself in the butt, right? You're gonna feel that stretch in your quad, okay? Okay, feel that in your quad, right? Yeah. So that's about
stretch if you can't bend your knee well.
Quad stretches are hard. I'll show you how to do that. Another one is to try to help open up your hip. So this is kind of hip circles, right? A little different than the high knees. You're kind of bringing it out to the side. Okay? Yeah. So you can do that. Yeah, and that's tight too. Okay? Right?
That's better.
It's a good one, right? You can feel that, right? This one's a little harder. If you can do it, I don't have the flexibility, but this is trying to, just kind of, as you're kind of walking down the court, just kind of bringing this, feel that in the hamstring.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Again, it's a little harder. You know, line yourself up on the back line or along the kitchen line and go back and forth. Across that, okay? The other one, we're working on the side to sides, just lateral lunge, right? You're just kind of coming in and then stepping to the side, kind of get stepped out into it, okay? And this is great. You could do this along the back line or the kitchen line, okay? Lateral lunges, and then this one is we call this the sumo hamstring stretch. So basically, when you're stretching your hamstrings, you don't want to bend at your knees and you don't want to bend at your back. You're just kind of going down at your hips, and then you try to lock your knees back. Okay, so your hips are straight, you're making a 90-degree, and I'm so tight that I can't, you should be able to touch your toes.
And it's not disruptive to your back.
If you don't want your back arched. If you arch your back, but if you stick your butt out, your back is straight, okay? And then you're going down, and then lock your knees, you'll feel it. If you keep your back straight, you'll feel more in your hamstring than in your back. If you're going down and you're trying to stretch down with your back, then that's that. So you really want to keep yourself so that you can, yeah, when you're stretching, you're always holding for about 10, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. So all of these, kind of dynamic, do about 10 on each side, okay?
I'm gonna need a nap.
Yeah, right, now you're warmed up, now you're ready to get on that kitchen line and do some pickleball. And then cooling down, we'll do some strengthening first. Alright, so let's do.
Can you explain the difference for dynamic and static stretching to people?
So, where's my stretching? Stretches.
There's me here, there's more here.
Oh, what's that for good? I'm sorry, what?
The difference between dynamic and static stretching.
So,
and when you should do both.
Yeah, so static is just, kind of, let's say I'm gonna try to stretch my hamstring, and you're just kind of putting it there and you're just kind of holding it, right, and you're just holding it still. Dynamic, is you're just kind of moving into it a little bit. You're easing into it. So, it's really a matter of like what feels best for you, what you think you could do best. But you want to do a dynamic workout. You don't want to just go stretch. Like when you're doing dynamic, it's better to do it before you're working out because you want to get the muscles moving. In static, you could do more after the muscles are warmed up, and then you're holding that stretch so that you can get more out of the stretch. That's really the biggest difference that I feel. This dynamic is more for the warm up, and the static is more for a cool down. Okay, so some strengthening. So that was the warm up. Now you want to try to maintain. So I'll pass these out again. I'll give that to you. So strengthening, we want to work on the quads. The sit to stand is a great exercise for your quads. So basically what you're going to find your favorite chair, and you're going to try to slowly sit down, and you're trying to slowly stand up without using your hands to push off. Okay, so you're going down, and then you try to come up without using your hands. Yeah,
It's not easy.
it's not easy, no. So, and you're using your quads, you're using your hamstring, you're using your glutes. So it's a really good, and think about when you're in pickleball, right? You're in this squat position a lot, so.
how many?
So like 10, do about 10 times, a couple times, yeah. And honestly, like this is like one of our basic exercises that we give a lot of people.
Is the difference between the squat and lunge, one is your hands are at your side and one is your hands are up?
Yeah, but you're just starting, you're just doing this, yeah. And on here has a more description of the exercise. I just kind of cut and paste the pictures just so you can
That's
see.
the starting position.
The starting position is sitting, yeah, you sit and then when you come up, you're just doing this, yeah, going down. So you guys should have some resisted bands.
Yeah.
So you can take your band, you kind of put it around your knees, right? And then basically what you're doing, you're kind of staying in that squatted position, and you're just kind of going outside to side, okay? Yeah, you're gonna have to tie it, yeah, you tie it around, yeah, so stay in the squat position, okay? And then just put your leg outside to side, okay? Back and forth, okay? And if you can't do it in standing, you can do this in sitting too, to get the quads. Yeah, so kind of go down into that squat position, hands out, okay? And then just, side to side, you'll feel it. You're gonna have to knot it up a little bit. Okay? And these are just some sample bands, you can get longer ones as well.
You can get tubes also, I have tubes,
Okay,
and they're inexpensive.
yeah. Again, in the descriptions here, we're just kind of going through this lunge is a great one. You want to have something with a chair support. You're coming down and you're kind of coming down. If you have difficulty with your knees, this one might be a little tougher. You want to make sure that your knee,
Just slow you again.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah, going down. You want to make sure that your knee doesn't go too far, or your front knee doesn't go too far over your toes. Yeah, but you go down, but you use the something for support, and you come back up, and you're getting your quads, you're getting a little bit of your hamstring, you're getting, okay? The more lunges you do, the harder it gets. So go more down on your back knee. Yep. And anything causes knee pain or anything, you stop, because your alignment might be
Your
off.
back leg straight or your back leg it can bend?
The back leg has to bend as you go down, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
What if your knees are crackling like crazy, just ignore
That
it?
means you have arthritis.
That's like we're plugging yours.
Well, it's probably you need a little bit more quad strengthening, because what's happening is we've got like our little kneecap, it's supposed to glide perfectly in there, and it's probably not gliding great, so you need a lot more quad strengthening. So stay away from the lunges if for down until they get a little
Is a
stronger.
knee sleeve a reasonable intervention?
A knee sleeve. Yes and no. Yes.
You know, before I had my knee surgery, I tried to treat myself, and I have knee braces. I have a Bowfrin, which is you have to get measured for. You need to do exercises, and if there's damage there, there's damage there.
We're not gonna, the adhesive's not gonna stop, like you said, the arthritis. It's gonna help, it could help the patella tracking, the kneecap tracking, but the thing is you don't wanna rely too much on the sleeve because you'll never get strong. So it's always good to do the strengthening first, and then if it's really, bothering you, sometimes it gives just enough relief that it's holding the kneecap where it's supposed to be. But, so just, you have to kind of weigh out the pros and cons. Okay, so a couple other ones. Again, working on the lunging to the side, so you're just kind of coming down and you're coming to the side. So you're doing both that. Wall sits, these are excellent for strengthening the quads. Okay, so basically you want to get yourself, you don't go down to a full 90 degrees, but you try to hold that, okay? Good for, if you guys are skiers out there, this is what we do for skiing all the time too, is the wall sits. And then you can add another level by doing the wall sits, the squats, and add that TheraBand, and you can add some of that abduction to get that lateral motion. And then we also want to work on kind of the core. And so I just put it in this elevated plank, which is the easier one. You're just trying to hold, it's kind of doing like a press push-up, and you're just holding it there, and you have to hold your belly, your back, everything. So elevated plank is a great thing to do with a countertop or a table. And then of course,
I love this lunge, because if you're playing the kitchen line, and dinking, you don't want to cross over your feet. Too many people do that, and they end up tripping. Better to go side to side, little steps, or like this. So this is a great exercise.
What exactly do you mean when you say dinking?
Oh, what's that? Yeah.
that's
sorry.
what you're on when you're on the kitchen line,
Yeah.
and you're just trying to gently hit it over the net to
Just
the
gently
ankles.
hit it over.
Yes, that's a dink.
You want to do what's called an unreturnable ball. So you want it below the height of the net, so that they can't smash it.
Oh, yeah, below
These
the
are
height.
pickleball terms, yeah.
Below the height of it.
The hip abduction, if you're going down, you're pulling into the leg.
You're pulling out, abduction, out. Yeah, so you're squatting and you're going with the knees out against the resistance of the band, and you're holding it there, and you're coming back, in. Okay. Yeah. And then I did add some shoulder exercises. Okay, so these are good ones with those TheraBands, because again, you try to work a little bit of the range of the, because we're not supposed to be up here a lot, right? Unless you're trying to really slam it. But you do want to work on trying to get the shoulder, so I added and going forward too. So adding some shoulder strengthening for resistance bands. Okay? Because it is important to kind of work on make sure your shoulder is strong. This is for shoulder, yeah.
I don't think we have this.
Do you not have that one in the slides?
No, yeah, it's like
It's on the second one, last page.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's on the last page of the strengthening. Back page of the strengthening. Yeah. Okay. So you stand on it. You can hold it here, or you can stand on. These bands are not long enough for you to really, but you can hold it and just kind of do that motion. You want to do kind of a diagonal motion and then go a forward motion.
you can buy the really long ones.
Yes.
Online.
Amazon, unfortunately.
And they make tubes, and some of them, I have at my office,
Yeah.
you can hook it into your door frame,
Yeah.
and that's what I do, and do various exercises.
So just doing a couple little things just to understand why balance matters in pickleball. Again, we're doing a lot of lateral motion, so we want to prevent those falls. It improves your reaction time on the court. So some drills or any kind of side-to-side drills, right? Anything you can do that. If you have a bosu is one of those half like Swiss balls that you step on. There are a lot in the gyms. You'll see them. You can do some signaling stance on those and stuff. But even tandem walking, which is kind of walking heel to toe, right? This helps balance. So if you're off balance enough that you need to do that, you can get up and get a countertop and just kind of work on tandem walking, because that, again, really helps with balance, so we want to do that. And you want to practice, and you're, kind of practice sometimes, you're going for that shot, right? You're going for that dink, and you're trying to get it, so practicing some of those, and, being in unstable position, you always want to maintain that kind of low center of gravity during any kind of rallies, right? Anytime you're doing anything, you want to be down here, so it's the ball's coming back at you. And that will help your balance. So some balance activities, again, single leg stance. So anything that for balance, you can find a countertop and just work on standing on one leg, right? And trying to see how long you can do that. And then, and do this in your pickleball shoes, right? And also do it in your bare feet too, but it's also good to, and you'll have one side that's probably a little stronger than the other, but balance is really, really important to get that. This is the half tandem, which is, kind of putting one foot, kind of just working on that too, just kind of working that balance. Standing and switching feet in the front and back. This is a really good exercise, but really hard. Try to do that standing up from the chair with one leg. So this is kind of a progression of what you did, but it works on your balance and your strength. Okay? You may need to push up to start with, but if you can do this, it's really good strength and really good strength and stability. So I kind of put up different things. This leg clock. So basically what you do is you're standing, you're just kind of like moving your leg from like 12 o'clock, you're going out to 3 o'clock, you're going to 6 o'clock, right? And then you try to do it without, holding on. So you're just kind of doing, so that kind of challenge, you do that on the other side. So that's the clock, right? So then you go 9, 6, doing that. Just general standing, if you've got a little foam or a little pillow or something like that, again, trying to get that lateral standing on a pillow and just kind of putting your leg out to side, again, working on that single leg standing, and then just working on that lateral stepping, right? And you could do that with a band too, right? Because this is a lot of what we do in pickleball, is along that kitchen line or back line, doing that lateral stepping. So just work on that nice and slow will help with balance and stability. If you want to get really high level, you've got something, you want to jump side to side, right? Kind of go back and forth. This has a little line, and get something you put on the floor, and just work on the lateral jumps. What this is showing, you take your band that I gave you there, you tie it to a wall or a door or a railing, and then you get yourself in that tandem stance, and you just kind of pull the band, and you go back, and then you pull the band, and go back. Right? And then there's this one where you just kind of take it and you push it out. So it's just, the band is acting as a little bit of a challenge for you. So you take that band and then you go up and down with it, and then so it works your core and it also works your balance. So these are just great activities, just even for not pickleball, just balance is so important, especially as we
We know, just say it.
as we all get older, and we'll get over. So proper, technique. So it's really important that you maintain proper posture, right? On the pickleball court, we don't want to be down, hunched over. You really do want to be in that squat because that helps protect your back, helps protect your knees. Right? You don't want to be hunched over. So making sure you're doing that. Avoid the overreaching for the ball, and go to the ball, move your feet, so don't go backpedal, no backpedaling. So if you have to get a ball that's lobbed over, if you're on the kitchen line, you're going back, right? You want to turn your body and go back more laterally and go to it. We all kind of tend to do this, and that's when we fall back.
The way I teach it is, it's opening the game. So depending which way the ball's going, you're gonna be in the athletic position, and you're gonna just pivot and sidestep, or you pivot if it's in the other corner. And if it's really over your head, you say, let it
Just
go.
let it go.
I
That's
pedal.
true, yeah. And then you swear, right?
Right, I don't like losing points like that.
Good shot, but yes, so, we never want to backpedal, because it is really tough. So, again, wear the most important, the most supportive shoes that you can get, and if they start to wear, like I had a pair of shoes, pickleball shoes on, and I didn't realize the bottoms of mine were like worn out, and I had the tiniest bit of like wetness on the court, and I just slid. So really be aware of the bottom of your shoe.
Usually for running shoes, it's 300 to 500 miles. for pickleball, it's crazy, it's 30 to 40 hours, which can go real quick.
Because think about it, you're doing this all the time, right? You're just
And like I
going
said,
back
some of the
and forth.
pickleball shoe companies
Yeah.
now come out, Selkirk came out with a 6-month guarantee on the sole. This is a diadem sole, but I made a mistake, when this company came out, they made an indoor shoe that I wore outside, and I wore it right through. So don't wear an indoor shoe
Yeah, because the
out.
court is different, the surface on the outside is different than playing on a wood court inside. So they're making that shoe a little different. So, and like we said in Richfield, we finally got at least our courts resurfaced, even though we don't have designated pickleball courts, but they're resurfaced and they did a really good job with that. The last one I wanted to do is, we'll show you is some of the stretches, but listen to your body. So recognize that you're feeling tired. You know, you're all out there and you're playing your 6th or 7th game. Like this, it's okay to take a break. That's when the socialization happens. Do not work through pain. Like if you're feeling pain, don't just say, oh, you know, I'm gonna work through it, because that's when things get worse. You can develop that tendonitis, and once you get a tendonitis, which is an inflammation of any sort of tendon in there, any sort of an itis is an inflammation, right? It's so hard to get rid of. So try to avoid that, and if you're feeling any sort of pain, kind of stop. Any sort of ice will help with that inflammation if you could do that. And, you know, I know we're all kind of pickleball addicts, but you're gonna try to put some rest days in there. It's really important to do that. I just want to also go over some simple stretches here too. So these are the cool down. So one of the ones, I guess I forgot to put the slide in, is the hamstring. All right, so that's a more static stretch, right? You're gonna find a little stool that are, you know, what basically trying to just put your foot up on a stool and you're just trying to slowly, you always wanna, when you're stretching from the hamstring, you never wanna bend at your back. You always wanna kind of hinge at your hip and you lean forward and you're gonna feel it kind of right in the back of your hamstring, right? And you wanna hold, you wanna sustain, so these are cool downs. So you want to sustain the stretch for a good 30 seconds. This is the hard part, right? Is like staying still and doing, that's why people don't stretch. Myself included, because it takes a lot of time. And you know, you have to make a mental note, like I have to stretch after, because that's when you're gonna prevent injury.
And this is gonna prevent you from getting night cramps at night.
Yes, yeah, so really
I've had that
works
from
not stretching.
right,
So
or not hydrating.
Stretching is a sustained stretch for at least 30 seconds, doing that over again. So that's the hamstring. The other is the standing calf. Again, you want to lean on something. You just want to kind of bring your calf, the back foot, and you want to ease into it, and you'll feel it, and you kind of lean forward, and you feel it. You can do this against a wall, and you'll feel a stretch on the calf, which is really important because that will prevent some of that tendonitis of the Achilles tendonitis. You want that calf and the Achilles nice and stretched out, prevent any sort of injury, rupture, tear of that Achilles. So again,
And I'm gonna be, on that particular stretch, I like to tell my patients to do it also with your knees bent, because there's 3 muscles back there, and you wanna stretch the muscles
yeah,
in the back of the leg too.
yeah,
So
usually
you do
kind
it knees straight and then knees
and
bent.
then knees bent. It goes a little bit deeper into the soleus when you have that knees bent. So, and it kind of describes that here. And then the IT, so the IT band, right? This is called the iliotibial band. Are we short one? Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
Oh, when you're talking about exercising prior to playing, you're talking about like doing it at home and then driving there?
No, do it on the court.
You have to do it like right before
Do
you
it,
play?
yes.
You should.
Warm up on the court, get your buddies and say, okay, let's warm up. You know, before we all get out there, we try to dink, right? But before that, you should be doing the dynamic warm up. Okay. So the last 2 exercises is the IT band, right? So that's this band that goes from your hip kind of down below your knee, the iliotibial band. It gets really tight because we're doing a lot of motions. So this exercise kind of shows you how you put you stand against the wall and then you kind of lean away from it and you can get a stretch down the side. Really important to try to get that band. And then you can add a little bit of flexion into it and bending down, get a little hamstring too. So that's why I put those 2 on here. But the IT band, I'm starting to feel mine a little bit, so I try to stretch mine at night because we're doing a lot of that lateral motion.
Can I just say, with stretching and weight training, you gotta be careful. If you're doing weight training and
and you go into some of these, sports, you can get, what happens is the muscles behind your leg, the hamstrings, the gastric soleus screw, become tight. So you wanna do different activities every other day, like Gigi said.
Yeah, don't do every, don't strengthen every day, like you said, like try to break it up. Like stretching, actually, I would recommend if you can, stretch every day. We all need it, for everything. So stretch you could do every day, but the strengthening, break that up a little bit for sure. Any other questions? Yeah, skating, so
We're gonna
yeah,
have time
so,
to play the game, but.
I know. Yeah,
You gotta get up early in the morning and do it.
Indoor, outdoor, where you guys, mostly, do you have indoor courts here in Reading?
Yeah, they do.
Well,
The gym.
In the gym.
In the
Oh,
gym, it's in a gym.
it's in the gym, yeah, like you do.
The slippery floor, very
Right.
slippery floor.
Huh?
Slippery floor.
Yeah,
I wear.
yeah, the floors are slippery, that's why the.
That's why,
shoes,
if you can play an indoor shoe,
Yeah.
not that everyone's gonna buy
Right.
more than one shoe.
Right. I did fall, playing.
Actually, the company I work with also has an indoor-outdoor shoe. It's called the Smash. But I played in it, and I'd much rather go either an indoor or outdoor shoe. if I had to.
I prefer playing outdoor when I can, it's so
Yeah, I
much
do
more,
too.
it's so much more fun. The wind adds a little, they're like the fifth man, but it's.
It needs a lot of joy.
Yeah,
More
it's
joy.
it's much more fun and stuff. But yeah, so the one thing, like, if there's one thing you do is warm up and stretch. Those are the biggest,
And wear the proper shoes.
and wear the proper shoes.
All right.